Mark Nelson is the managing director at Radiant Energy Group. He's joining us from Chicago in the U.S. to discuss this report. Mark, thanks for speaking to us on this news hour. Now, do you find this report concerning, or is it something expected given what we've seen over the last 2 years and this increase in geopolitical tensions?
I think it's expected. And let me tell you what I mean by that. There are fewer nuclear weapons now than at almost any time in 60 years. Lower level of danger doesn't mean there's a higher level of danger. What's been clear over the last, I would say, 20 years is that states like North Korea found that vocally threatening action and violence with nuclear weapons has been very effective at getting policy that they want from other countries, or very effective at being left alone, shall we say. What we're seeing now is that Russia is able to say, we care about Ukraine more than you do. We're going to prove it by threatening nuclear retaliation if you do anything. So the words are high. What this report is acknowledging is the words, and most of what this report says about the modernization of weapons, this is something we might be expecting anyway. Weapons are getting old, and countries want to update them while they still have older experts that can train younger experts.
Mark, the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons said the combined total spending on nuclear arsenals grew by $10.7 billion to $91.4 billion just last year, the U.S. seeing 80% of that rise in spending. As the only country to have ever used nuclear bombs, why does Washington feel that it needs to strengthen its arsenal now? Is it down to all like what you've just said, just modernizing these weapons, or are there other factors?
The U.S. weapons arsenal was built and maintained by a workforce that is exiting. In order to attract and keep talented workers, there must be something to do. The fact that this is happening at the same time that there's a hot shooting war in Europe is, in my opinion, what's leading the anti-nuclear weapons studies groups to put out these reports. None of this is to endorse or to condemn any of the actions that you just mentioned. I'm just explaining why it's expected now that we should be seeing more investment in the countries like the United States that have not invested in modernization of nuclear weapons for a generation.
Many may be wondering, especially those in countries that do have nuclear capabilities, spending so much money, millions, billions of dollars on these types of weapons to arm themselves when all of these countries have said a nuclear war can never be won. Surely that money can be used to better benefit the citizens, especially as globally you're seeing a rising cost of living. Many people are saying their governments should be doing more. So when you have billions being spent on this that may never be used, many people in those countries will be questioning why. Why not use that money for something else?
No one can ever prove that there won't be nuclear war. Similarly, no one can prove there will be nuclear war. What we appear to be seeing is that we are living through possibly the most peaceful time in human history, certainly in the last few centuries. This peace is a result of stability between the largest countries. Again, without saying whether that stability will be kept or not kept in the future, that stability where Russia threatens attacks with nuclear weapons and then doesn't do it, or when only small, weak countries are invaded by the strong countries instead of strong countries invading each other, it appears that this temporary peace has been bought by the spending on nuclear weapons. We don't know how long or if that will continue, so your point is well taken.
Mark Nelson, really good to get your analysis. Thanks for explaining that to us live there from Chicago.